Oh my goodness, welcome back to Be Adventures. As you can see, we got some ingredients. Guys, we got another cooking video. I'm gonna make some pasta. Pasta is one of my favorites, I love it. There's many different types, obviously, with different noodles or styles. So anyway, let's get started. Sorry, the pasta was $1. Pasta sauce was $2. Mince meat was, it works out to be $2. I bought actually a large amount, I think it was about 2 kilograms. You know, bought it in bulk. We got an onion, that was about 33 cents. The 4 cloves of garlic were about 20 cents. You know, obviously I bought the whole big thing. And lastly, we have the carrots. The carrots were about 40 cents. So just to give you guys an idea. I also like to use Vegetar. It's similar to a chicken salt. Just let that focus. Okay, there's gourmet stock. But it's great, you know, because it's vegetarian, but it adds a bit of flavor. Let me show you. I'll open it up. Yeah, just flavoring. I've seen it in Philippines. I've seen it all around the world in Southeast Asia, whatever. It's a popular brand. It's good stuff. You know, your black pepper. Yeah, classic black pepper. I love to have a bit of pepper. This is just raw sugar. Okay, you'll see why during the cooking process. And we also have some Italian herbs. Yeah, just a mixed bag. I believe there's all sorts of stuff in there. Yeah. And some basil. Okay, so we're going to prep up these ingredients, cook them up, but I also went over the pricing. So the total pricing was Australian $5.93. Okay, $5.93 in Australian. And I just wanted to cover that just to help people budget and give you an idea that you can make a nice big meal for just shy of $6 Australian. Okay guys, this is pretty straightforward stuff, but I just want to show you guys some techniques which I learned regarding garlic and onions. Now, I can't take credit for it. I learnt it from Chef Ramsay. Some of you may have heard of him. He's very famous. He did not teach me directly. I just watched some of his videos and he had some awesome cooking tips I'm now going to share with you. With garlic, the problem is you might waste time peeling it by hand, yeah? And you sit there peeling it, you know, like that. What you can do is, see I just chopped off the end, you get it started. You can rub it in your hands. Oh, excuse me. And the skin comes off a little bit easier. Sorry, that one didn't work very well. Oh yeah, see? And it just rubs off. But you can get it started a bit more, and especially if it's rounder garlic, like I said, you can just rub it, and it'll just rub right off. So there's one little trick there. Just to peel garlic a little bit quicker. 2 onions. They can be a real pain, okay? So especially home cooking, you're not trying to be fancy. You halve it, yeah? Cut it in half. And then what you do is, instead of peeling it slowly like usual, you peel it back, just like that. And usually you peel off the outer layer anyway, like see how it's a bit yuck there. Okay? See? You peel it all back. I'm just going to tear it off, just to make it a little bit neater. Okay? And because I want to dice it, I'm going to put a cut. Yeah? Put a cut through the middle. And I'll put, you know, maybe one more. I'm going to be careful, I don't want to cut myself. And then I'm going to put some more long cuts, like that. Notice how the root is still attached, okay? And now, when I dice it, I'll take off that front bit, it's not very nice. See? And this goes for slicing it too, if you just want some rings, or half rings. See, and perfectly diced. Yeah, perfect little squares, yeah? So, that was a godsend when I learned that, because I used to be, you know, peeling it so slowly and then it's rolling around the chopping board. It's also safer, guys, because it's flat, okay? It's much safer to chop. Otherwise, you know, you might cut yourself. Okay, so there's some little cooking tips there. I'm gonna keep getting prepped and we'll come back when it's all done. Okay guys, here's the minced meat. I want to show you guys just another little trick. See how it's minced meat, but it's all stuck together? It's during the mincing process, it actually just gets all stuck together. See, it's something that's breaking apart. But during cooking, you'll see, if you just chop it up a little bit more, it'll be really smooth, meaning it'll just break apart and melt. This is semi-frozen, by the way. I had it in the freezer. That's why it's causing a bit of resistance, but see how I've just chopped it up that little bit more to break up the mincing? Okay, and just chop it up a little bit more. Doesn't have to be fancy, it's just home cooking. But later you'll see what I mean. When it's on high heat and you're cooking it on the stove, it'll just all fall apart and melt together. Some people like a meatball. Some prefer it more smooth. I prefer it a bit more smooth. Okay, it's just me. So there you go. So later when I'm cooking, I'll just push this all in the pot and it'll just break apart very nicely. Okay, so it's all chopped up, ready to go. So we're going to cook up the onions and garlic together. Because I'm using a gas stove, gas burns very fast and the heat transfers very fast, so the garlic can burn. Just be careful of that. If you're using an electric stove, maybe it's a bit slower, you can cook the garlic separately. So I like to mix it together. Then we're going to go the carrots because they're a harder vegetable, so they can take a little bit longer to cook. So let all this soften up and caramelize, and then we'll just throw in the meat and then the sauce and the herbs. Okay, we've got the gas stove on. Forgive me of the extractor fan. Okay, we need the extractor fan, otherwise it's going to get too smoky. We've got some nice olive oil. Okay, that's getting nicely warmed up, and now we're going to put in our garlic and onions. Move them around so they don't burn and get that olive oil coated. Okay, and let them caramelize until it turns clear. Okay, I might put a little bit more olive oil. The reason why, this is it, I'm not going to put any more. This olive oil has to lubricate this, the carrots, and also the meat. That's why I'm putting so much. Okay, so it'll continue to do its job throughout the rest of the cooking process. Okay, so while we got the sauce going down here, over here we got the bigger pot with some boiling water. We're just going to put some table salt. Nothing fancy, just salt to get a bit of flavour in there. Okay. Now, you know it's a good temperature when it's bubbling. It's not quite bubbling yet, I'm just doing this to show you guys. When it's bubbling, you know it's really hot and boiling. Put some more oil, your favourite cooking oil. I prefer to use olive oil because it's a bit healthier and a bit nicer. So you put some oil in there so the pasta doesn't stick. And then go ahead and put in your favourite pasta. Perfect example of what I was talking about, guys. See, it's starting to burn. I had the gas stove on high heat. So I turned down to a low heat, and I'm obviously moving these around, but they are caramelizing just fine. As you can see, those little bits that are burning, that's actually the garlic. The garlic started to burn. So good thing I threw it in with the onions. The onions protected it and lubricated it a bit more. But let's go ahead and throw in the carrots now. Okay, so you got to get used to heats, guys. Whether you're using gas or electric or whatever your system is at home. That's fine, just go to a low heat. Just start off with a low heat and then turn it up gradually. If you're ever getting burnt or getting carried away, just turn it off, okay? Turn off all the heat and then go on from there. You know, don't be afraid to give it a try. Practice makes perfect, meaning it's okay if you burn it sometimes, it's okay if you make some mistakes, and you'll probably even come up with your own recipe. We're going to let that again caramelize and simmer. It'll shrink, okay, as it cooks. I'm even just going to put the lid like that just to help bake it all that heat in. And if it gets a bit dry, whatever, I can just put some more water. Okay guys, the sauce is going really well, as you can see. Put a bit less, otherwise I might drop it. The onions have caramelized. Yeah? Sorry, it's very steamy, it's steaming up the camera. But anyway, they've become clear, and the carrots have become nice and soft. Okay? So yeah, it's good. So I put a little bit of water just to stop it from burning. And this is what I was saying before, our mince. I'm just going to roll our mince in there, and drop our mince in. See how it's breaking apart nicely. And see, it's just going to melt. See, when I move it around, it's very soft and just melts. Not just because it's mince, but because I gave it that extra chop earlier. Okay, so that's great. I'm gonna get the sauce. That's already good. Okay, our tomato sauce. I'm just gonna pour that right in. There you go. I'm just gonna add some drinking water and flush out the rest of this sauce. Okay, and that way there's a little bit more water content. That'll steam off. That'll boil off. Don't worry. And that way I use up the sauce. I've got a nice clean jar. Okay, let's stir that through. So now we've got plenty of liquid on, so we don't have to worry as much about it burning. You still have to stir it, otherwise it might stick to the sides and burn. But we'll just keep it on a low heat and a simmer. That's going to be great. Now it's important to test your product, guys. You've got to keep testing it, keep tasting it. Really important to taste. That way you can correct it early. Especially before you serve it to guests and get embarrassed because it tastes like heck, you know, it tastes terrible. So I'm just going to show you my seasoning next. Yeah, just let the camera focus. I've got that vegetar salt. This is actually that raw sugar. So about a teaspoon. Yeah, about a teaspoon of that vegetar salt, a generous teaspoon of that's sugar, and about half a teaspoon of black pepper. I like pepper, it's up to you. You season it as you like. So we're going to throw that all in. Okay, I know it may seem like a lot, but remember we got a big pot here. It's going to get diluted. Okay. Or you could just be on the side of caution, put less, and then continue to add more as you like. More salt, more pepper, add a bit of flavour, you know. So I'm going to stir that through, make sure it's nicely stirred through. Okay. I'll give it a quick taste test. But it's got to simmer a little bit more, guys. That's about perfect. So I'm going to stop there, but you can obviously season it more. Also remember the basil, the dry basil. I love herbs. This is just what I have around the house. You can use fresh herbs, obviously. So I'm just going to roughly measure that in my hand. Yeah, I know it seems like a lot, guys, but again, it's going to mix through the whole sauce and it's dry. It's just dry basil, so the flavors are different to fresh basil. A couple of leaves of fresh basil would be enough. And you know, I just love basil. Okay, so again, stir that through. I may have even put too much, but we will see. The thing about a pasta sauce and many sauces, the longer you let it simmer with all that seasoning, the more the flavors come out. Especially pepper. Pepper can often be slow release. So the longer you let it simmer like this in liquid, the more peppery and more spicy it will be over time. But if you're in a rush, maybe you don't care, you know? Okay. So we're gonna keep going, guys. So we'll just let that simmer on a low heat, and let's focus on the pasta. Okay, look at the pasta, it's nicely swelled up, it's all nicely cooked. You can obviously take one out and eat it as well, that's the easiest test. Yeah, so we're gonna pour this out now. Okay. Ooh, steamy. Like date night, getting nice and steamy. Okay, so we got it in the strainer over the sink. See how hot and steamy, huh? Look at that. It's pretty fogging up the camera too much. Okay, and that's it, guys. Just drain out, you know, just draining out the liquid. Okay, I've turned the heat off. Just gave it a final test, final taste. Delicious, yummy. You know, the peppers coming through and the herbs. Okay. We've got our delicious fresh pasta. Well, not fresh, but you know what I mean. Boiled. nicely boiled up. Ooh, baby. Yep. Yeah, very nice. Let's give it a taste. Okay. Very good. Okay, and just to finish this bad boy off, I have some Parmesan cheese. Why not? Yeah. And there we go. My delicious homemade pasta. Success. Thanks guys. Come on, we'll taste it one more time. Yeah, get some of that cheese on there. Okay. With the cheese. Success. Alright guys, try it yourself. Don't be afraid to check out the Facebook page, the YouTube main page. Try cooking yourself, you know, save some money, eat healthy. And of course, thanks for watching.